I recently had my first experience with YouTube's "Give us some money and you can watch this movie" feature by buying John Krasinski's seemingly well-received horror movie, Home Alone. And if you'd like to find out what I thought of it so you can turn off the video now, I thought it was pretty fucking good. Please subscribe, hit that bell icon and follow me on Instagram. A Quiet Place When Boiled Down is about blind monsters with ultra-sensitive hearing that can hear exactly where you are from a great distance, even if you do so much as sneeze. So everyone has to live life like they've been transported to the ASMR dimension. However, these monsters seem to have a bit of a blind spot for snapping your fingers. This movie does have a couple of cases where it kind of betrays the established strength of these monsters' abilities, because this lady had to get pregnant somehow, and you're gonna look at this man's beard and tell me that no one made any noise, come on now. I suppose they could have gone up to the waterfall for that one. You may remember way back 30 seconds ago when I called this a horror movie, and you may have thought one of two things. Either you thought, hey, it's not really that scary, or you thought, hey, why is this obnoxious prick putting quotation marks around horror? This is a fantastic movie in many ways. The cinematography and the sound design alone were enough to make me enjoy it. But it's not a horror movie, and it so easily could have been. The decision to show the monsters on screen and fully lit multiple times throughout the movie completely diffused any tension that could have swelled from a movie based on this premise. Even the very first encounter we get with one of these creatures shows it fully and leaves no room for ambiguity. Nothing can ever be as horrible as your own imagination, or as beautiful.
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope.
You lose all fear of the unknown by the 10-minute mark, and that's to the detriment of the movie. Yes, it may have made it a little less accessible, but it had the potential to elevate it from good to Biscoff levels of fantastic. A lot of this is a consequence of editing, and as such there is no doubt in my mind that there either already is, or soon will be, a fan re-edit of this movie that tries to address some of these issues, because after all, if a fan edit can make the Star Wars prequels watchable, then it can tighten up the stitching here. The story follows a family of strangely nameless people just trying to survive roughly a year and a half after these
CGI boys
assumedly came rolling in on their space Cadillac, and that's really it. There's not any journey taking place or any goal that our characters set out to achieve throughout the story other than to survive, and that's what this is, a survival story. The conflict arises from the fucking monsters, dude, what do you expect? I suppose the real interesting parts of the movie are watching these people cope with the thing that happens at the 10-minute mark, and also watching the strain that's being put on the relationship between
Lee
and his daughter,
Reagan.
And that story's resolution really is the emotional core of the movie. I suppose a lot of the story is the result of convenience and sort of character clumsiness in a way, which in some movies is a massive issue, and not to sound like that pretentious bellend, but this isn't one of those movies. Because this is one of those movies where without that act of clumsiness or that bit of convenience, the story wouldn't happen. There would be no movie. So I'm willing to overlook some minor elbowing of lanterns for the sake of having a movie in the first place. For a movie that's so limited as far as dialogue goes as this is, it's important to get a grip on the viewer visually and auditorially. In other words, if a movie like this looks like a DC movie, then no one's going to want to watch it. It needs to be visually stimulating in a way that other movies can afford not to be. And I have to say, there's some fancy nice cinematography. The sound also tends to be very tactile and diegetic. That's not to say there's no music or anything, but the movie has this thing where it uses more sound and emphasizes those low level sounds to somehow make the silence even more silent by adding more sound. I know that sounds a bit like making your room seem darker by turning off all the fucking lights, but it just works, I guess.
I'm not kidding.
These limits on dialogue and the need to convey emotion in more subtle ways puts weight onto the performances of the actors and the direction of said actors. This movie happens to feature everyone's favourite thing.
Oh, fucking hell.
As far as the three, spoilers, 2 child actors are concerned, the girl gave a pretty impressive performance. I don't know whether her real life situation with being actually deaf helped her with that at all, but regardless, she needed to carry a measurable amount of emotional weight, and she did so quite well. The boy was fine, I guess, and the adult actors, well, one of them is Emily Blunt, dude, you know it was all smooth in the hood. Basically what I'm saying is I'm excited to see what the man from the meme is going to do with his next directorial escapade, because as much as this movie may have a few rough edges here and there, it is absolutely worth your time. And it's absolutely worth my time writing and editing a video about it for no one to watch. I give it a